Hey there, ready for a trip back in time?
I am. Sounds fun.
Today's deep dive takes us to Baltimore's East Monument Historic District.
Cool.
We're not just talking bricks and mortar,
Right?
but the dreams built into those homes,
Yeah,
stories whispered through generations.
I love that.
Um,
Okay.
what's so fascinating about this neighborhood? What makes it stand out?
It's about resilience.
Yeah.
It's about cultural preservation. And it's really about how community flourishes even across oceans. We'll follow the journey of Bohemian immigrants from their arrival in a new land to establishing a vibrant community.
Okay, so let's set the stage. Imagine late 19th century Baltimore, just after the Civil War. Northeast Baltimore is booming, rows of Italianate-style houses. You know, those charming brick row houses Baltimore's known for.
Yes, definitely. Although these weren't grand mansions or anything.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them were just 13 feet wide, even smaller tucked into the alleyways.
Wow, so they're really packed in there.
They were. This really reflects the economic realities for working-class immigrants, and it highlights the importance of those close-knit communities.
So interesting. These tight spaces really fostered strong bonds. It makes you think about the social dynamics that were probably woven into the fabric of the neighborhood. But how did they even afford these homes?
That's a great question. Building and loan associations play a huge role.
Okay, and remind me what those were all about.
Imagine like a community-driven mortgage system. People pooled their savings, helping each other achieve that dream of home ownership.
That's amazing. Talk about neighbors helping neighbors. So let's talk about the Bohemians. Where does their story begin?
Imagine this. You're in Bohemia, under the thumb of the powerful Habsburg Empire. Life is tough. It's the late 1860s, and you see this glimmer of hope across the Atlantic. America beckoned with promises of freedom and opportunity. That's what drove many Bohemians to Baltimore.
Wow, that longing for freedom really puts things into perspective. So they arrive in Baltimore, a melting pot of cultures. Where did they first land?
Many initially settled in Fells Point, but by 1872 they established St. Wenceslas Church.
Of course.
And this was more than just a place of worship.
Yeah.
It became the heart of their community.
Wow.
Think celebrations, think Czech language preservation, a haven for solace and connection.
It's incredible how central a church became to their new life. It wasn't just about faith, was it? It was about holding on to their identity in a brand new world.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And education was paramount. They even established a school to ensure their language and traditions were passed down to the next generation.
Talk about dedication. They were determined to create a space where their culture could thrive. So we've got the church as the central hub. But what else defined the Bohemian community in East Monument? What made it unique?
Well, alongside the church, their community was also strengthened through
Yeah.
like shared experiences, mutual support.
Okay.
One fascinating example of this is actually the evolution of architectural styles in East Monument.
Oh, you mean how those beautiful row houses changed over time?
Yeah.
I always wondered about that.
So the earliest homes built in the late 1860s and 1870s mainly featured the Italianate style.
Okay.
Think ornate cornices and decorative brackets.
Right.
But as we move into the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a shift occurred.
Things became a bit more simplified, right?
Yes,
Busy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Neoclassical style emerged,
Mm-hmm.
emphasizing cleaner lines, symmetry, those classic proportions. It's like the neighborhood itself matured, reflecting those changing tastes, building practices.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is even a detail like the material used for cornices
Oh, yeah.
tells a story.
What's the story there?
Well, after the city banned wooden cornices in 1892 due to fire concerns, you start seeing more sheet metal used.
Wow.
So it wasn't just about aesthetics, but also practicality, adapting to the times.
It's like a puzzle. Every little detail reveals a bit more about the people
Right.
and this time period.
Exactly.
Fascinating. But let's go back to the building and loan associations we mentioned earlier. They sound crucial to the Bohemian success.
Absolutely. These were cooperative financial institutions that allowed members to pool their savings and borrow money to buy or build homes, something that many working-class immigrants couldn't do traditionally.
So it was like a team effort to buy a house.
Yes,
That's incredible.
precisely. And it wasn't just about finances. These associations were often deeply embedded in the social fabric of the community. Members often shared an ethnic background or occupation, creating a powerful support system.
Yeah, this sense of community really shines through. But life as an immigrant wasn't easy. What kind of challenges did they face?
Well, many Bohemians arrived with limited English, They faced discrimination.
Right.
And remember, they were also yearning for their homeland's independence. Bohemia, under Habsburg rule at that time, this was a constant weight on their minds.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine carrying that burden of longing for your homeland while also building a new life. How did they cope?
They found strength in their shared heritage and unwavering determination. They established businesses, built homes, preserved their traditions, all while contributing to Baltimore's growth. They never lost sight of who they were.
Their story is truly inspiring. It speaks to the heart of the American dream, built on resilience and unwavering hope. But it wasn't just about hard work, was it? They also held on to their cultural identity fiercely.
Absolutely.
I love it.
St. Wenceslas Church was central. But they also had social groups, which weren't just about physical fitness.
Wait, Sokol, I've heard that term before, but what exactly is it?
So social groups originated in Bohemia,
Okay.
and they emphasized physical fitness as a means of preparing for a potential struggle for national independence.
Wow.
It was about being ready, both physically and mentally, to fight for their homeland's freedom.
Okay.
In Baltimore, these groups became important spaces for social connection and cultural expression.
Wow, I never realized something as seemingly simple as exercise could carry such deep political significance.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a testament to how interwoven their lives were with the fate of their homeland.
Yeah.
They yearned for freedom, not just for themselves in America, but for Bohemia as well.
So they're working hard, building a new life, but never forgetting where they came from. That's powerful. What other ways did they keep their cultural traditions alive?
They organized picnics, parades, festivals, all steeped in Bohemian traditions.
Okay.
They even held Czech language plays, celebrated national holidays, ensuring that next generation understood their heritage.
It's amazing how those cultural practices acted as a bridge between their old world and their new one. But it wasn't just these big events, was it? Daily life played a role too, right?
You're exactly right.
Okay.
Think about the impact of places like grocery stores, meat markets, and bakeries.
Yeah.
These weren't just places of commerce, but they became hubs for the Bohemian community to connect, share news, speak their native language.
Yeah.
And John Dubus's photographs beautifully capture those everyday moments of connection.
Those photographs offer such a precious glimpse into the past. They weren't just posing for a photo. They were living their lives, maintaining their traditions, and building a community.
And it's through those everyday actions, those seemingly small details, that they ensured the survival of their culture in a new land.
It's incredible how the Bohemians in East Monument clung to their heritage while embracing their new lives. But did those dreams of their homeland's independence ever come true?
They did.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, imagine the wave of emotion that swept through the community in 1918. World War I ends, and Czechoslovakia finally achieves independence.
Wow, that must have been an incredibly emotional time for them after all those years of hoping and advocating from afar. Their homeland was finally free.
Absolutely. It was a victory not just for Czechoslovakia, but for those ideals of freedom and self-determination that fueled their journey to America. In fact, the governor of Maryland even declared October 28th as an official Czech Day in recognition of their joy and contributions to the state.
That's amazing. It speaks volumes about how integral the Bohemian community had become to Baltimore. Their story is a powerful reminder that immigrants bring so much more than just themselves to their new home. They bring hopes and dreams for a better world, for themselves and for their homelands.
I couldn't agree more. Their story is both unique and universal. They faced challenges head-on, built a thriving community, and never let go of their cultural identity. It's a testament to the human spirit's remarkable ability to adapt, persevere, and contribute to the rich tapestry of their adopted home.
It's been an incredible journey exploring the East Monument Historic District. We've gone beyond dates and names, uncovering the heart and soul of a community built on resilience, cultural pride, and a deep yearning for freedom.
It all started with curiosity, right? A willingness to look closer, to see beyond the surface of a seemingly ordinary neighborhood and discover the extraordinary stories woven into its fabric.
Exactly. And what resonates with me most is the power of community. These were individuals facing the daunting task of starting anew in a foreign land, yet they found strength in shared experiences, traditions, and aspirations.
It's a story that reminds us that history isn't confined to textbooks. It's etched in the streets we walk, the buildings we admire, and the echoes of lives lived within those walls.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the East Monument Historic District, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this journey?
I hope they'll be inspired to take a closer look at their own surroundings. Every neighborhood, every community hold hidden stories waiting to be unearthed. It might be the legacy of immigrants who came seeking a better life, the evolution of architectural styles, or the cultural traditions that continue to bind a community together.
Those hidden gems are everywhere. A walk down the street becomes so much richer when we understand the stories behind the places and the people who shaped them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So next time you're walking around your city, keep your eyes open and your curiosity piqued. You might be surprised by the extraordinary stories you discover hiding in plain sight.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll see you on our next adventure into the fascinating corners of our world.